It's a long time coming. PlayStation 5 customization. Obviously, the big box is the PlayStation. That's the Seagate and the PlayStation 5 heatsink controller. That's the charger. The red thing is the PlayStation 4 Seagate 2T version. I got the 1T version for the PlayStation. So, believe it or not, I didn't know you can actually use your Samsung P90 heatsink in the Seagate on the PlayStation 5. Extra space for games and data. You can actually use the PlayStation storage for your apps and things. I still have space on the PS4 Seagate and the PlayStation 5 SD card is nearly empty. I use some of the old games that I have to download the PlayStation 5 version of Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and something else. But this here is the Spider-Man decals for the PlayStation 5. And this is actually my first PlayStation 5 ever since the launch almost 4 years ago. So that's what I meant by a long time coming. It was actually a pretty good process. If I thought about it too much, I was probably gonna mess it up completely. Excuse me, but I didn't think about it too much. I just kind of went for it. There's a little bit of bubbling with some of the decal, but for the most part, it did look pretty good. So this is all of the parts of the PlayStation. I looked on the internet a lot and watched people handle uh, this PlayStation 5, and most of the people that I saw handle it, they didn't baby it. So as you can see, I probably won't baby it as much, but I didn't want to scratch it up before I got the decals on it. And I can tell you, if I do ever change the look of the PlayStation, it will not be another decal, because this one was challenging, but I kind of went for it, so I didn't try to make it perfect. So as you can see, I'm laying the PlayStation down on the table, trying to figure out which side that SSD go on. So I had to flip it over. I took off the wrong side. But this is me just kind of going through the motions, figuring it out, doing my thing. And as you can see, I wasn't babying it. I wasn't even thinking about putting something down. See how I'm turning it on the table, probably scratching it up, putting stuff all over it. So I decided to just go get a towel, so that way if I did scratch it up in this little bit of time that I've been handling it, I decided, you know what, let me be a little bit more careful with it. So this is me showing you the Samsung the 990 with the heat sink. But for the most part, I think I did a pretty good job. My next purchase will be probably the TV that supports 120 hertz. Got a 4K TV. It shows pretty good, especially when you play the PS5 version of every game. I saw the difference. I played the 4 not knowing that I can upgrade, and when I did, it was significantly different, especially in the bright spots where you can see the darker greens, blues, and reds. So I decided to take this glove off because I didn't want to lose the screws in the spacer. I wanted to definitely be careful with putting this SSD in. Once I heard the click, I was okay. Put the spacer in. Now I know the spacer is supposed to go on the bottom of the screw, but I tried it the other way and it didn't look right, so I did it the proper way. And it's just being careful right here. It's kind of good to have like this screwdriver kit. It's magnetized a little bit so you can pick the screws up. You don't have to be so careful with them. Put that in, snugged it really good. Put that back in place, screw that down, snug that pretty good. So snap that back in and went to town. Wasted no time. Wiped off the little bit of dust that I had. As you can see, I'm grabbing the decals right away. Now with this, if you ever get decals like this and they wrap it with the tape, don't try to take off all of the tape completely. You just want to get that top part off, and you want to just like kind of unravel it right here. It's still taped together, but it's loosened now to the point where you can rip the rest of the tape off, and it'll open up pretty easy. Now the inside ridge part was ridiculously hard, and the controller part, if you don't try to be very tedious with the controller part, it's gonna bubble. So I know that I may have to take off the controller parts in probably another month or so, depending on how much I play the game. So this will probably be a weekend thing with my PlayStation. My son won't play it at all because he needs to get a little bit better in school. So all of his privileges are gone for now. So I definitely put this together without him knowing, and I want to see how long it takes him to realize that there's a PlayStation 5 in the house. Now he has one. Fortunately, he has had his almost as long as the system has been out. So he got the first version of it. His mother bought it for him. I had my PlayStation 4. I was perfectly fine with playing that until lightning fried the HDMI cord input. So started saving to get this one. So now I wasn't really sure which side this decal went on. This is me poking out the PlayStation logo part. But yeah, I wasn't really sure which side this decal went on, so I had to go by the PS5 logo or the PlayStation logo. So that way I was trying to be as perfect as I can with the first lineup, and then with everything else, I just kind of rolled it off pretty simple. Had to poke out some of that PlayStation whole decal. It wasn't perfect. I had to pull it up and put it back down, but it's okay. It's PlayStation. Yeah, if you see it from a distance, it looks fine. This side of the PlayStation laid down pretty good. So this is me pulling up the PlayStation logo side to stretch it out a little bit. Now what was crazy about this decal is that I did some, and if you're doing this, you can also do what I did. I did some pulling up and stretching of the decal, and it did not rip. So this is a pretty good one. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice. So I just kind of went right at it on the other side. I was looking at these and I was deciding whether or not I was gonna do the inside of the side that I kind of just did, and I was like, you know what? Nah, let me do the other side. So this is me doing the other side. It's pretty simple. But what I didn't do on this side is I didn't roll it as well as I did the other side. And I should have done it from the roll side. So if you're going to do this and they roll it up, do it from the roll side that's rolled up, so that way you can pull from the side that's not rolled up. It'll lay a little easier. As you can see, I'll show you. Well, I'll tell you I'm doing it, but see, I started from that top side. What I should have done is rolled it from the other side. So I basically tried to roll it was difficult. The paper was rolling up on me, so well, the decal was rolling up. So what I tried to do is lay it down from the side. See, I have everything bunched up, so I had to literally stand up and try to lay it straight down from the top, from the bottom side to the top side. This is kind of where I messed up, because I was so impatient with this part that I laid it down too quick, and I didn't pull out the bubbles. Tried to press them out while it was down. I should have stayed standing up. So but it was, see, I did a little pulling. You know, this is when I was impatient. But as you can see, I tried to pull it just a little bit so that way I can lay it down somewhat better. I should have just kept doing it this way, but you'll see I'm pulling it up, trying to flatten it out. But you'll see me just pull the rest of this paper off and not lay it as smooth when I get down to the bottom part of it. Now watch me just pull that off. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just waited and did it slowly. Now every time that I lay anything, it sticks. So I just like kind of propped it down. Yeah, as you can see on the corner down there at the bottom by my hand, on the left hand, you can see a little white around the edge. So this is me trying to push out bubbles. I've laid it down. I got lazy. I didn't want to pull it back up. So, but you'll see from a distance when I stand it up and show you that it wasn't so bad. And the crazy thing about it is I showed it, and it didn't look so bad. If you should put that light on it, you'll see it. But I pushed out some of the bubbles, and then I pushed out a little bit more later. And this is me just moving on to the back part of it. Well, the part where the CD goes in, the CD's the disc. I literally bought the disc version of this because I live in Florida, so we have flea markets and swap shops and stuff like that where we bargain down here. If we can bargain for $5 to $10, you don't want to go over 10. You go over 10, you're asking for too much. So if I can buy a game for probably $5, $6, $7 to $10 cheaper than the original price, I'll get it used, especially with these systems and the new technology with the disc cleaning. And I purchased, as you can see from the beginning of the movie, the video, I purchased mostly all of my products from Amazon. So if you don't like it, you can always send it back. That's the good thing about shopping on Amazon. Now this part was really crazy. This only thing you really have to do with this is line up the holes and lay one side of it and smooth it out across the other side. I also did a little bit of pulling with this also. But my PlayStation 4 was metallic red. Just that regular look just never was okay with me or to my taste, you know. So and these decals, they really went all out. They have the designs and the decals to put on every part of the PlayStation. So now I was finished with that, I showed you guys. You barely could see it, but it looks really nice. It looks really nice. I don't think anybody's going to be able to see that part anyways of the PlayStation when they actually come over and play. Now I just had to do this part. This part was fun. This part was fun for me. It was a little challenging. I pulled and stuck and pulled and stretched, but this part was literally line up. Make sure it doesn't bubble. This part, I had to pull some of the decal out of the hole so that way I can use the USB plug. But you want this part to look okay. You don't want any bubbles on this part. This is the part that everybody sees when they're playing the game. So just watch me work on this one. Getting it together, pulling, making sure that there's no bubbles. Yeah, this part I really enjoy doing. I don't know why I enjoyed doing this so much. It was challenging because of the small little bubbles that you get. I had to pull it up here, but you want to get like because it's so in your face, you want to get these little small little tiny bubbles out as you lay it down. And I was super happy about getting this done. It was really nice. You can see a little bubble right here at the top. And I was like, hey, it is what it is. Now that white inside part right there, I was thinking to myself, should I try to put this on with the thingy on it? But I was like, you know what? Nah, let me take it off. And I literally thought about it again. Should I try to put it on without taking the cover off as the PlayStation lay down like this? So when and these are the parts right here, the inside cover part. And these parts came out actually pretty good with the finished product. So if you do decide to get a decal, do not be lazy with this part. This part brings it all together, basically. And I'm thinking, I'm looking right now like, dang, should I try to put this on like this? And I was like, you know what? Let me take it apart. Do it individually and save yourself some time. Even when I finished this part, I said to myself after it was done and looking at it, maybe the next time I do this, I'll try to put the inside decals on with one cover off. But you don't want to do that because you need the space to stretch and pull up and reassemble, and you need to be standing across. You'll be reaching, as you can see me, I'm reaching over. I'm reaching over and you see in the middle of the cover how the tape just flopped down on the cover. With you don't want that sticking to your PlayStation. So now when I laid this inside and I got it either down the side or across the top, and I saw how it leveled out at the bottom, I knew that I had to extend the decal over the edge of the cover, because what it does is it wraps around the edge of it to cover the white part. As you can see, there's a white part at the top here. Now what I did is I took it off and I stretched it out more, so that way when you're done, it pinches over on the other side of the decal on the front, so it can cover out most of the edge of the white. So now I'm pulling it up and I'm putting it a little closer to that outside edge. I realize that it pinches over and it stretches a little more. Pulling that side up so I can now this is the these edges have slits on it, so you don't want to get too crazy with the pulling and the stretching because you might rip it. And in my mind I thought you you can rip it to make it a little easier to do, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't think that's how it was meant to be put on. And as you can see, there's like that white edge right there. I'm pushing the decal over, trying to pinch it in to make that white as small as possible on the edge. And I was happy to get that done. But I had the phone side up so that way I can. Now this is me just finishing the other side. I'm doing some drying, and I didn't restart it. So this is me finishing up the other side, putting it on. I do have to say the phone did go dead while I was doing the controllers. So I probably finished one I probably finished one controller, but this came out pretty good. Now I had to do the bottom. The bottom was fairly simple. And you definitely want to pull out the circle for the screw that goes on the bottom. I'll pop the little plastic part out so that way you can use your stand. Now I have watched videos of the liquid metal kind of moving off center of the sensor or the chip or whatever it is in there. I'm just a vertical stand kind of a guy, so I said I'll deal with that issue when it presents itself. I'm thinking now, should I even have it standing? Now this is the flattest part of the PlayStation, so this should be the easiest one to do. I'll show you guys that. As you can see, I tried to put it up, but now this part was crazy. This is the little edge part that's the only thing left that's white. And I had to pull and stretch this one because it had like those sharp edges that will peel. I'm telling you, if you get this part on, you will have to either replace it or take it off because it'll stick, but those edges are not, it doesn't have enough sticky space to kind of stay on if you're not tedious with the edge first. And I didn't want to put the edge on first. It's just a little bit too hard for me to line it up from that little tiny sharp edge. Excuse me. And you'll see me kind of pinching on that to push it down. And I am at the controller part. So the PlayStation is literally finished. This was a pretty good job. I can say it was a pretty good job that I did for myself. It came out pretty good. I know one side is a little bit bubblier than the other, but the controllers are tricky on the under part. The under part of the controller, when you lay it down over the C charger part, you kind of lay it down and you pinch those edges in under the bottom as you let the middle part lay in, so that way it has a little cut there, so there is a little crease. I decided to do it from the bottom part, but then I was like, you know what, let me go C-port part first. That way I know I can line it up over that hole and then go from there. So I even had to poke the hole out of the C-port. If you hear it in a little bit of noise, that's the dryer going. I think it's a belt buckle for my son's school pants. So I decided to just take the whole thing off, pop that C-port out, and start from there. it became a little bit easier. I think I got a text from my old lady. She was at work. I waited until we hung out all day yesterday together. I waited until she went to work, so that way I can do this without any interruptions. Because when you're in a loving relationship, your lady is gonna bother you. So, but it's coming up to the end of this video. I kind of started this controller. I don't think I finished the job before the phone went dead, but this little bottom part was pretty cool. So thank you guys for watching. That is my custom video for my PlayStation 5. So PlayStation 5 SSD, 2 controllers, controlling stand, HDMI port. HDMI wire that support 4K, even though I know the one that came with the PlayStation supported. I just wanted that white one. 4K TV, unfortunately, not 120 hertz. That'll be my next project I'm working on. So thank you guys for watching. Peace out.